is reading your grant, they are asking themselves 3 implicit questions about your application. That's what we are talking about today. If you're new around here, my name is Sarah Dobson. I'm a research grant consultant, and my team and I help early career researchers get funded at NIH. So what are those 3 questions? So I've been talking about this since probably 2017, 2018. And if you've been part of any of my trainings before, you very likely heard me talk about this, but I'm putting it together in a single video today so that it's clear and easy for you to find. So the 3 main questions that reviewers are asking are, is this research worth doing? Is this the right team in place to do the work? Do we trust them to do the work? And is this project feasible? And so let's break each of those down. So the worthwhile, the worthiness question is really about, why do we need to be doing this research in the first place? What's the point of doing this research? And your job as the applicant is to make a very clear argument for why that research ought to be done, why it matters to do this research, and why it matters to do it now. And so that usually comes in when you are talking about the background and significance. So whether we are talking about an NIH grant here, where there's a very clear sort of delineated section for that, or any other application to another funding agency, there's usually space at the beginning to describe the context of the work that you're doing. And that's where you're really answering that implicit question about the worthiness of the project. Why do we need to do this research in the first place? And why do we need to do it now, right? Because all of this comes down to funding, right? And so you want to be making that argument, you want to be making that case for why we need to do this research now, what opportunity is available to us by doing this research now. So that's the W part of things, right? That's the worthiness question. Then we get into the trustworthiness of the team. And this is really about making the argument that the research team that you have assembled has all of the experience and the expertise to deliver on the results that you are promising, right? That's what this question is really about. And so your job here as the applicant is to make sure that you are describing not only the expertise and the experience of the members of the research team, but also their specific roles on the project, right? And this is one of the things that I have seen done very poorly over and over again in applications, is there's a big spotlight and a big focus on expertise and experience, but virtually no explanation of what that individual team member is doing on the project. And so that means that your reviewer is having to connect those dots and try to figure out what this team member's roles and responsibilities are. So it's on you as the applicant to make sure that you are describing that element very clearly also. So who is on the team? What's their experience and expertise? What are they actually responsible for? And all of that together will help make that case for the trustworthiness of the team. Can this team all together deliver the results that you are promising? And another important thing to note here in grants to places like NIH, where you are requesting salary support for that individual team member, you need to make sure that you are describing their unique role and responsibility on the project, because one of the things that no funder will ever enjoy is seeing overlap in roles, right? So you want to make sure that you're explaining this person has unique expertise and experience and a unique role on the project that's not being duplicated by another person over here. We're not asking for double salary for the same work, right? Okay, let's move on to the third element. We've done W, we've done T, and now we're going to do F for feasibility. So feasibility is about, can you actually do the work in the way that you are proposing to do it? Is it scientifically feasible? Is the scientific premise of what you are proposing reasonable, realistic, well-founded, rigorous? All of those things, right? And then Feasibility also comes into play when you're talking about the resources that you have at your disposal to be able to do the work, right? Obviously, you are requesting resources from the funder to be able to do the work, but you also are existing in an environment that has resources. And the question is, the argument that you have to make is that the resources that you have at your disposal already are going to support the work that you are doing. You have everything you need to be able to do the work, whether you are requesting it in the proposed budget or you already have access to it at your institution, right? So that would be things like lab space, shared equipment, other elements that are related to the sort of facilities and equipment side of things, to be able to, again, support that argument that you have everything you need to be able to do this work. But of course, the other big thing that reviewers are looking at is how you have designed your research to be able to answer the questions that you are asking, right? So how do your approaches and methods help you answer the questions that you are asking? And is it feasible to answer those questions in a meaningful way with how you have designed the research, right? So all of those things together make up that feasibility argument. So it's really, really important that you cover all three of those bases when you are submitting an application. Those are what I consider to be implicit questions that reviewers are asking. And of course, that does overlap with some of those explicit scoring criteria that reviewers are looking at when they're reading your application, right? You have all of those individual scored criteria and the prompts that are associated with them that reviewers are going to be looking at. But big picture, these are the three questions that reviewers are asking themselves when they are reading your application. And the other thing that I will note here is that as the NIH has been talking about their new simplified review framework that is being implemented in early 2025, they have been talking about the categories and how they are reorganizing the scoring criteria into three big questions. And those questions are, can it be done? Will it be done? And should it be done? And those effectively mirror those questions that we've been talking about, right? Should it be done? It's related to that worthiness piece. And can it be done is related to the feasibility piece. And will it be done is related to the team piece and the trustworthiness piece, right? So you can trust that these are really the questions that are at the basis of any peer review when it comes to certainly NIH grants. But in my view, these are just fundamental questions that reviewers are asking in general about any grant application. So if you found this helpful, I strongly encourage you to sign up for our free resource library. We have lots of tools and tutorials in there to help you write stronger NIH grants. And you can find that link to sign up for the free resource library in the video description below this video. All right, see you next time.